So I'll give some insight into training if you want now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in my 4th block of off-season training. So off-season training is a lot of volume. It's a lot of hard work that builds the base for a big season. If I'm talking about blockchain stuff, I'm in an accumulation phase. I'm accumulating until I'm ready to like peak. And so yeah, fundamentals are critical to everything. I'll spend the rest of my career working on the fundamentals. Like in sprinting particularly, there's always like a better angle, a better strike point. It's a very, very intricate art, you know, and I find you can only really work on one thing each season.
So what are we going to be working on today?
So today I'm doing some sprints and hurdles. So a bit of max velocity work, but I start off with some hurdles. So I'll do 2 sets of 3 hurdles, just sprinting over it. And yeah, whoa, crap. I'm just flying my pace. But yeah, no, always start with the same, every training session has the same warm-up process. So barefoot with my very beautiful toe spaces. Don't zoom in on that. But yeah, barefoot walking drills and then get straight into basically warm the body up so I can hit max velocity. So I want to get the best out of myself today. So yeah. Oh, it's going to be hot today.
If you could pick like one track event to do for the rest of your life, what would it be?
400s.
400?
Yeah, I sort of like 400s. Even though I don't do that in my event, I find 400 is a perfect mix of speed and endurance, you know? It's like, it's a 400 meter sprint. So you got to have max velocity, but you also got to have a really, really deep ability to hold lactic pain. And I think training for it is actually, so some people get into this obsession of like doing marathons, and I think why not just train for 400s? Like you don't have to do as much mileage, you get more velocity, and it's just a different sort of high when you cross that line. So I always find it fascinating, the obsession with marathon training when you could just do track training. I think it's I don't know, I look forward to the future. I think there's going to be a day where people start treating track events like, you know, running a marathon, because it's the same process, just less grind and more reward, I think.
100%. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you during a training comp?
I remember once I was throwing javelin as a warm-up, and I went to go throw, and basically I was trying to show off with it and think, oh, I'm a great javelin thrower. I went to go throw, and then the tip of the javelin hit the back of my head and did a big backflip in the air. And so everyone's seen that. That was a bit embarrassing. And then the other time is I tripped over the line for a 200. And I won the race by 0.01 of a second, and the announcer was like, oh, you should see that photo finish. You know, I'm like basically in the air, like it's pretty embarrassing. But I still won.
That's all that matters.
I actually feel really good today. Which is awesome.
You do?
Yeah, should be nice. Because heptathlon training is like so intense, you know, you're always carrying load. Sometimes it can be a bit hit and miss, like how the quality of sessions, because sometimes your body's just not there. I don't have the luxury of being a sprinter and always turning up fresh. So the days that I do turn up feeling good, which has been more lately,
yeah,
it's a really nice feeling. The more quality sessions you can do, you know, just pays dividends.
What's your go-to song before you come to training? What would you be pumping to get you fired up if you're not really feeling it?
I like Fred again a lot. I listen to a lot of Fred again. I haven't listened to a lot of new music lately. I tend to work with focus music, like that frequency music, because it keeps me really like focused. And then for training, I sort of have the same sort of, there's a Boiler Room mix by Fred again. And
the best one, yeah,
the best one.
Yeah.
And basically that just gets me to a little peak, you know, that little dopamine peak, and I'm like, okay, good, let's go. And sometimes Caleb has music playing and sometimes it's Fred again, and that gets me going. But a lot of Fred again. It's a bit...
Seems to be a bit of a trend.
Don't you hate it? Like, I would consider myself a natural contrarian. Like if something's cool, then I don't want anything of it.
Yeah.
But Fred again's the first thing where I'm like, oh man, he's cool and I love him, and I'm a little bit torn because, you know.
Yeah, I know.
But that's okay. Full respect, he's earned it. So.
All right, I've got one for you. It's going to be a hard one.
Hard question.
Paris would have been pretty incredible, but if you could sum it up in one word, what would it be?
Anticlimactic.
That's so good.
Anticlimactic.
That's so good.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your least favorite drill or event to do?
I don't really like going to the gym, to be honest, even though I'm very good at it, because, so that's probably that. And the least favorite event is probably the event I'm worse at that time, because in heptathlon there's a lot to cover. Some things are going good, some things are going bad. So generally the thing you don't like, or not, that is not going well.
Just depends.
Yeah, it depends. But at the moment, shot put. Yeah, shot put. I should be so much better than I am, and it's almost there. Just got a few little tweaks to make consistent.
So what's the focus for today's session? What are you trying to achieve from your results?
We've done a lot of capacity building, so I've done a lot of volume training, and with that you don't really work as much on your max velocity. So I built my fitness to a really great degree. Now we're trying to realize max velocity and speed in that. So I'm stronger and I'm fitter. Now we gotta get my body moving at a max velocity that's higher than last season, but with all the base work we've done this year. So today will just be about hitting max velocity, hitting the technical cues, yeah, and just fly, just
Sick.
let it flow. So this season I had a really big breakthrough in my speed, and it came down to doing all these boring drills often and well.
Yeah.
So I had a history of a lot of injuries, always tearing my hamstring, always hurting my foot. This year I sort of wiped the slate clean because Sam, who's over there, has been really working on my speed technique, and it's paid huge dividends. So we just do these fundamentals every session.
Do you think the fundamentals are sometimes overlooked?
100%. It's what makes the big, like, I'll explain it in a second. Good, yeah. So yeah, fundamentals are critical to everything. I'll spend the rest of my career working on the fundamentals. Like in sprinting particularly, there's always like a better angle, a better strike point. It's a very, very intricate art, you know, and I find you can only really work on one thing each season. So this season that just passed, the focus was on foot strike and actually getting my foot under me. Now we're focusing on speed of hips because I've often been a bit stuck in the mud when I run, so yeah. Whew.
So with the Olympics being over, like obviously the build up to it, what's the next focus for you? What are you focusing on?
The World Championships next year in Tokyo in September. So everything's leading up to that. So in between the Olympics, there's a competition every year. So It'll go World Champs 2025, Commonwealth Games 2026, another World Champs in 2027, and then an Olympics. So 4-year cycles is how athletics works. So yeah.
And crypto.
And crypto, actually, you're right. Usually the bull run years sort of happen just after the Olympics because it often aligns with US elections. So. Whew. Okay, so because it is a hot day, I don't have to I often don't do a jog for a warm-up because it's hot.
Yeah.
And you warm up the more running drills you do because there's a lot of the repeated movements. So I'm feeling pretty hot and warm now. So now I'll head back, chuck my sprint spikes on and start doing some hurdles drills. So yeah.
What do you think, so a lot of people don't get to see this behind the scenes training and getting actually ready for competitions. What do you think some of the things that people would be surprised that you do during training that they don't see on the track?
I think it'd be surprising to people to see how much I actually work as well as train, because I've trained with European girls and it's like a full-time job for them. But for me, I do the same sort of level of training, but I also work a full-time job. So just being able to balance the demands of heptathlon with an actual career, most people can't do that. People are very surprised. They're like, especially if you make the Olympics, the assumption is that, oh, you're a professional athlete, you get paid. I'm like, no, I do a little bit, but it's not enough for a living, so yeah. Look at this. I got so many pairs of shoes just for one session. Got hard plates, 2 lots of dragonflies. These ones are a bit worn. And then a second lot. Oh, and then these ones, because I'm doing a race thing tonight, so many shoes. When I traveled for the Olympics, I had 14 pairs. When I traveled for the Olympics, I had 14 pairs of spikes in my bag. It was crazy, crazy.
One for every event.
One for every event plus spares. Plus I bought some new shoes that were too small.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, just a bit stuck. But I oftentimes switch between shoes and training. Yeah. Because these shoes here are a middle distance shoe. So they're actually not meant for sprinting like I use them for, because they're softer. These ones are a sprint shoe. But because I've had a history of foot issues, these ones kept stirring up my feet and these were softer. And I ran all my sprint PBs in the middle distance shoes, which was pretty crazy. So this season, we're progressively working into these ones. So, I mean, theoretically, I should be able to run faster in these. Theoretically.
So what are we jumping into now?
We're going to do some hurdle drills now. I might move them over here for you so we can do them just a little stretch, yeah? It's not usually this loud and stimulating here. So it's usually a very quiet spot to train, especially on a Thursday morning. Yeah. So it's kind of good practice for competition, because in competition there's lots of sounds, lots of people. So, and it's also kind of good to practice training with a camera, because in comps they have a camera right up in your face, you know? Yeah, so you got to learn to
compose yourself.
Your composure, yeah.
Talking about the crowd though, how was the crowd at the Olympics? What was when you first walked into the stadium, what was your thoughts? Wow,
it was the most beautiful stadium I've ever seen. The crowd was loud for everyone. It wasn't just the French people, it was everyone got a cheer, even me. And I'm an Australian and no one really knew me. So it was really loud. Sam, one of my coaches, he used to be a boundary umpire for the AFL. So he did the grand final at the MCG years ago. And he said the Olympic Stadium was louder than a full MCG? Yeah, MCG grand final, so.
Hectic. What's the measurements between?
Do 9 feet in between.
Yeah.
It really varies. on what the intent of the session is. So my coach is trying to get me to be more forward as I go over a hurdle, so like leaning over it more. So to do that, we put them a bit further apart. Most people do a bit closer, but we're doing it further to try and get me to lean into it.
And what's the normal height on a hurdles?
So for girls, we do 84 centimeters. So, but the boys do 108, 110, no, 108, yeah. I'm feeling pretty good today. Yeah.
I got a tape measure out because I like to start from there. You know, what's the distance of first one?
Probably a few excels. Just opening up the stride and then get ready to go for hurdles. I get a pair of blocks for me. Not yet, I'll probably do the running hurdles first.
Yep, for sure.
Do balance and stuff first.
I always like them. Yep. Yeah, your push is beautiful. Yeah, because it's almost like a little like, yeah, I was wondering like, all right, tear the track, rip the track or something like that. Because yeah, your push out was really good.
I thought so too. I felt really nice tension. Like
Yeah.
elastic tension.
No, that was nice. Yeah, Tay got it on. I haven't seen it.
Oh, you got it on video?
Yeah, Tay got it. It's really good.
Yeah, I just gotta stay down. I can just be more violent.
Yeah. That's good. It's Lucas running through.
I always find hurdles is a fun event. I think I would assume to film because I'm literally just sprinting at this barrier and going for it.
Have you ever hit one before?
Yeah, many times.
Ever done it in a race?
You're not a real hurdler if you haven't hit a.
Have you done it in a race?
I have, but I haven't fallen over, so I
okay.
covered really well. So. Trying to like focus on me being like violent. We call it being violent at the start. So just like really smacking those first few steps down, and that should translate over the hurdle.
Yeah.
The hurdles is a very brutal event. Like you can't come into it half-assed. You have to be like, I'm gonna sprint as hard as I can and commit to like getting over this thing. So you have to be all in. Yeah, I think it takes the most guts personally.
Yeah.
Oh.